Okay, so let's talk about the end credits scene for Pearl. A lot of people wanted me to talk about this, so we're going to talk about it. Check out our Any Explain if you haven't already as well, where we discuss the whole movie as well as the ending, and check out our spoiler-free review if you don't want any spoilers. If you're watching this video, you just know we're about to get into some spoilers, so don't watch it if you don't want those. I don't want people to be complaining in the comments down below, but let's talk about this end credit scene, which I just think is one of the best ones. So when end credit scene, we're talking about the end credit scene where the credits are rolling, you just see Mia Goth smiling and not blinking, or are we talking about the maxxxine teaser? Either way, we'll talk about them all, but let's start off, of course, with the very first one, which is the one where we see Mia Goth, who plays Pearl in this movie, just stare off, smile, no blink, nothing happening here, just staring at your soul, and tears start streaming down her eyes because how much she is just smiling and holding back from blinking. Now this scene takes place right after Howard returns from the war, and Howard of course comes into a very gruesome and grotesque scene where we see both of Pearl's parents dead at the dinner table, a rotten giant pig right slab down the middle, and Pearl's just there with some limeade welcoming her husband, who she missed so much, back from the war. And now we know that Pearl's going to make it work with whatever she has, and that is what I think is causing this smile. This is fake. This is a mask she's wearing. She's trying to hold back in the resentment, the anger she has towards Howard, and as well as her mother and just everybody around her, because her dreams, her aspirations to go and be a dancer, to be on that stage, to go to Europe, to be known, to be a fucking star, as we know, are gone. And pretty much she is here now, just stuck to this farmland which she despises, she hates, and she just wants nothing to do with. And that's the reason she's just trying to put on as much as a fake smile as she can, but of course deep down she is just wanting to let loose all of this anger that she has built up. And I think that's why we see her up into the events of X become who she becomes as an old woman, is because of all this resentment and anger she's been holding all of her life, pretty much, that she's not able to release. She releases it in not a way like many people would normally do, where they might go and play like a sport or play a video game or do whatever they do. She in fact actually goes out to kill. And I think that's what we see in X, is pretty much her going back to this resentment and these feelings that she had. And of course, after all of this time of build up, she's not able to control it as she is in this one particular scene. So I thought that was interesting. I do want to talk about the monologue as well, now that we're just talking about the ending and the end credits scene, because I think it definitely is one that is very powerful, very much so. The way that it's delivered as well, it doesn't have to be over the top or wacky in the way she's describing these things. It sort of comes off as sad, and sort of like you have this empathy as well towards Pearl, because you realize everything that she's gone through and everything that she has had happen to her, and as well with her psyche that she already has. You know that this is what drove her into what she eventually becomes, and that is these murderous fiend, as maxxxine says in the X movie at the end, which I still think it's funny and fascinating that Mia Goth played both maxxxine and Pearl, and we are getting that maxxxine movie pretty soon. We'll talk about that in a bit. Just hold on. Let's just keep talking about that monologue, which I think which is amazing, over 5 minutes long, and we're just getting more and more about this, like, and during the whole monologue we just learn more and more about Pearl, things we didn't know, the fact that she was pregnant at a point, and the fact of how much she actually resents Howard for going off to the war, what happened with her father as well, and just her detailing how the killings just came naturally and easy, and when she did them she didn't really feel as she thought she would, and she was there missing her mom, missing her father as well, and just realizing how much she had actually put everybody through. I think really is a way to view this as a tragedy by the end of it all, and I think that that's definitely what we have here for sure. I think the homage to the golden era of Hollywood is great as well, and it really brings us back to those comedy tragedy movies as well that are just so close together, as well as horror and comedy always go hand in hand. I've talked about it so many times, and I really think this one is one of those movies, because you feel for her so much, and things that she does are so so like out of place, and it has you laughing, but when you really think about everything she's going through, it is a tragedy deep down as well, but also filled with so much horror. So I think that they really balanced it back and forth very well, and I definitely give them a applause for that. So let's talk about that end credit scene. If you stayed at the end, there was just a teaser for maxxxine, which we already have online. So if you didn't stay for it at the end or didn't know about it, you can just catch it online. It is maxxxine with 3 X's because X. And pretty much what we're going to see here is this movie will take place, I believe, 6 years after the events of X, where Pearl took place 61 years prior to the events of X. So the maxxxine movie is going to follow maxxxine after the events of X, and where she is going off to become a star. She will now be in Hollywood. This movie takes place in the 80s, so Ti West talked about wanting to go into different genres as well as sort of the feelings of the movies at the time, because each decade in movie filmmaking is different. As we saw in the 70s exploitation vibes with X, we saw the golden era of Hollywood Technicolor with the Pearl movie, which took place in the 1920s. Now we will have maxxxine, which is going to take that retro 80s feel as well here. So I'm interested to see where we will find maxxxine. Who will be the main antagonist? Is there going to be a slasher? What are they trying to do with this movie here? I'm very excited to see that. Is her father going to come into the picture? As we know, maxxine's father was that preacher that was on the TV just giving that speech that was heard over and over during the events of X. So I'm curious to see about that, and I have made a theory video on my maxxxine video when the first trailer came out that this could be maybe a cult movie, especially considering the fact that her father has some sort of congregation. It seems like a church and all, but we don't know exactly if it might just be something darker or more sinister. That's just a thought. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm excited and cannot wait, and I will definitely be participating in the maxxxine casting call. If you know, you know, and if you don't, you're gonna find out. It's going to be hilarious. So anyways, as always, that is going to do it for me. I just wanted to talk about the end credits, give you a little more of my thoughts, my opinions on it. Let me know yours down below. This is a movie after all, so we all have different opinions. We felt different things watching it, and I like to know your opinions on it as well. But as always, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit that notification bell, that subscribe button down below. We're so close to 25,000. We're less than 400 away from that, so I cannot wait till we hit that. Once we do get close, I might do a live as we try to get hitting that number on real time. Hopefully we could, and then we will do an announcement for the giveaway that is coming. That's going to be something I think everybody will love, so stay tuned for that. But as always, I'll see all of you next time. Make sure you subscribe, check out our videos on the left, check out our Pearl videos, our X videos, and of course we're going to be doing some maxxxine videos pretty soon as well. But as always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.